Government shutdown hits day 39, 40 major airports.
America's longest ever federal shutdown has a new highly visible consequence. The government ordering the busiest airports to reduce flights by 4%, rising to 10% next week. The reason cited, safety, as tens of thousands of air traffic controllers and security officials work without pay.
Well, they don't have a flight until Monday, so that's kind of a pain in the ass. I definitely just want the shutdown to end.
Trump and the Republicans need to get off their butt and start negotiating with the Democrats.
The president was on the move this morning, heading to his Florida golf course, blaming Democrats and upping the stakes on the fallout of the shutdown. Posting on his Truth Social network, the Democrats are winning in that they're destroying our great miracle economy, which is exactly what they set out to do: terminate the filibuster. Ending the rule that requires a 60-40 majority in the Senate would get a shutdown-ending vote through, but Republicans worry how Democrats would use it were they to regain power.
We need Republicans to just say yes.
Democrats want Republicans to extend health insurance subsidies beyond the end of the year before they vote to end the shutdown. President Trump's latest prescription: send the subsidy money directly to those who will be affected instead. But millions are already being affected by shutdown disruptions to food assistance known as SNAP.
I don't want to use up all of y'all's milk.
Anita Norris has lost the $265 a month that made all the difference.
It feels like I'm failing them because I am trying. I'm trying to do all that I can. And of course, as a human, you get frustrated. And I never want my kids to see that or feel like I'm taking that out on them for something as simple as dinner.
Last night, the Trump administration won a stay in the Supreme Court, allowing it to withhold full SNAP funding for now. The president's economic boosterism.
We're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
We're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country.
The golden age of America.
Butting up against everyday reality. Democrats winning big this week, focusing on affordability.
Walmart's annual $40 Thanksgiving meal has...
Trump's calling that a Democrat con. His evidence: a 25% cheaper Walmart Thanksgiving package. What he may have missed: it features a smaller turkey, fewer brand names, 22 items instead of 29.
When you look at 25% reduction in costs for Thanksgiving between Biden and me, I don't want to hear about the affordability, because right now we're much less.
Those last words pounced on as a Marie Antoinette moment, destined for Democratic campaign ads. Low-income Americans, meanwhile, left waiting for an end to a shutdown that's hitting harder with each passing day.
Well, I'm now joined from Washington, D.C. by Democratic political strategist and commentator Simon Rosenberg. Simon Rosenberg, thanks very much for joining us. I mean, thousands of flights cancelled, more than 1 million federal workers on unpaid leave, or working for nothing right now. Neither the Republicans or the Democrats can benefit from this, surely.
No, the country is being harmed, but it's why we're fighting, because Donald Trump's agenda in his first year has brought extraordinary harm to the country. I mean, just this week, despite the fact that the Republicans got blown out in these elections and we performed far better than any of us expected all across the country, look what they've done. They've gone to court to make sure that tariffs and higher prices are in place. They're fighting to make sure they take health care away from tens of millions of Americans. Donald Trump purposely made a decision to not send the food assistance to 42 million people in the United States. Our basic argument is that Trump's agenda is harming the country and that we're fighting for everyday people against these harms. And Trump has responded to it by doing additional harm. So we think we're in the right place, and we're going to continue to fight.
But the problem is, as you say, you want to win for ordinary people. But if this shutdown continues, ordinary people are going to suffer more and more, aren't they?
It is. Listen, it's a great question, and it's a great way to look at this. And I think this is what has been hard for Democrats. We perhaps did not expect that the President of the United States would respond to our desire to negotiate, which is what people do in a democracy. We have power. They need our votes to get through any of this legislation. They've refused to meet with us. They've sent the House home. Yesterday, Donald Trump, instead of negotiating with us, brought Viktor Orban, Putin's best buddy, to Washington to have a big party with him. I think it's hard for people probably outside of the United States to understand how much Trump's response to this is, how malevolent it has been, and how much he's sort of shooting the hostages now.
But very briefly, what do Democrats do to unlock this?
Chuck Schumer offered a reasonable compromise yesterday on the Senate floor. The Republicans immediately rejected it. There are no negotiations. Donald Trump has spent more time with the Syrian president in the last few weeks than he has spent with the Democrats in Congress. And so they're making no effort whatsoever to try to resolve this crisis.
Okay.
And you should be aware that the polling in the U.S. has been very brutal for the Republicans on this, and it contributed to the electoral rout that we had on Tuesday, something Donald Trump himself admitted on Wednesday morning.
We have to move quite quickly, I'm afraid, but you had 3 big election wins this week, 3 different victors. Would you say now that you have the message right, that the Democrats have their message, affordability for ordinary Americans, if not who your messenger should be, the standard bearer for the party?
Yeah, the party is remarkably unified right now around a sort of a 3-part message, right? Affordability, tariffs, higher prices, fighting for health care, and fighting Trump's attack on our democracy and our trampling of rights and freedoms in the United States. And so, yeah, and I think it's important for people to realize we didn't just win in places like New Jersey, Virginia, and New York. We had blowout victories in Maine and Pennsylvania and Georgia and California and in many municipalities all across the country. This was a much more, this was a clear repudiation of Trump and his policies, far more so, frankly, than many of us expected when we went into election night on Tuesday night.
Really sorry, going to have to end it there, but Simon Rosenberg, thanks very much for talking to us. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.